Hello everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Carmen. This is Trailer Trash Beauty and Makeup, where we talk about makeup. Today I'm going to be talking about Haus Labs, the makeup brand by Lady Gaga. I've got tons of products from her that I've been using for over a year now, some of them. A few others are relatively new, but I've been using the heck out of them, so I feel like my thoughts are pretty solid. And although I am a Lady Gaga stan, I absolutely love everything she does, there were a few stinkers in her makeup line, and I'm going to be honest and tell you what I think about everything. So to get started, we have the Les Monsters lip crayons. Don't mind my hands, they are busted. I'm a landscaper. There's no way around it. This is the shade Peach Matte. I got some pretty warm shades, and I'm kind of surprised at myself because I tend to not gravitate towards warm shades. They are so creamy, so evenly pigmented without having to put a lot of pressure or effort. A really pretty color there. Mocha Matte. The packaging kind of looks like a writing pen, which I know a lot of people were kind of not into, but I think it's kind of cool. It's easily recognizable. And the packaging is very lightweight. It's not lightweight in a cheap way though. It's lightweight like in a recycled material kind of way. It feels like recycled plastic. It doesn't feel like a drugstore product. That's Scarlet Matte. So those are the three shades I own. I absolutely love how these apply because again, they apply almost like a satin lipstick with how smooth they are, but they dry down to a true long-lasting matte. Absolutely love it. I do find that this formulation can sort of migrate into like the fine lines around my lips, but I have thin lips. I have a lot of fine lines around my lips, so I tend to always use a lip liner with these, but I absolutely love the way they wear. I love how comfortable they are. They're not overly drying. They don't crack, they don't flake. They last a long time and they're easy to apply, super portable. I also love that the actual pencil, like the packaging, is very accurate to the color that you're actually getting. So when you're in a hurry and you're just grabbing for colors, you don't have to do a lot of guesswork and open all the little bullet lipsticks and see which color you're getting. You know as soon as you grab it. I absolutely love these. I use these all the time. I think they're wonderful. I've been tempted to get more colors, but God knows the last thing I need is more lipstick. I have so much lipstick, but I'm very, very impressed with these. This gets a big thumbs up from me. Now the other two lip products I tried do not get a thumbs up. They get a big womp womp. I was so disappointed. This is the PhD color changing lip oil. This does, to me, feel very cheap as far as the packaging goes. It's a very lightweight plastic. The cap gets really dirty and kind of scratched and torn up looking very easily. It just doesn't feel like a high-end product to me. Now, this is a color-changing lip oil. I don't know if you can tell, but mine started separating very, very early on. I only had this for 2 months. And I was using it every single day, multiple times a day, and it still went bad. It started to separate. It started to smell like a dead body. Like, it just smelled like rot and decay. And I knew, like, I don't think I need to be putting this on my lips anymore. I'm going to get rid of it. So I was super disappointed in that. Now, Haus Labs is a clean beauty brand. Clean beauty brands are notorious for not including preservatives in their products, which does cause them to go bad quicker. Now, before it went bad, I did like it. It wasn't life-changing, but it was a nice lip oil. It wasn't particularly nourishing. I still had to put a lip balm underneath it to feel like my lips weren't drying out because the lip oil alone just kind of made my lips feel sort of dry. The applicator also didn't pick up a lot of product, so I had to keep going back into the tube in order to get enough product to apply over all my lips, which was kind of annoying. The color was nice. It did definitely do the whole pH thing where it, reacts with your body and just becomes a pink. I actually got a lot of compliments when I wore it. It just looked really healthy and natural and made my lips look kind of full. It didn't feel too sticky. It didn't feel too thick, but it also didn't have like a ton of weight to it. I kind of like a more cushiony, thicker lip oil, and this one was just kind of so-so to me. For the amount of money I paid for this should have definitely lasted longer than 2 months. So Even by using it every day, I couldn't get through it before it rotted on me. So that was super, super disappointing. Likewise, the viral, what is this called? Atomic Shake lip lacquer thingy majigger. This is that vinyl liquid lipstick. I got mine in the shade Rosewood, right? Rosewood Shine, that's the shade I got. I could not have hated this more. I literally could not have hated this more. I think though that I got a bad one. I'm kind of scared to swatch it. Let me swatch it, whatever. Oh, I'm supposed to shake it. Hold on, stand by. Okay, we're shaking it. We're doing the atomic shake, yeehaw. Okay, we did the atomic shake. Let me swatch. I think that this was already screwed up somehow when I got it because the formulation was like really stringy and weird. It never dried down, like never. I literally held my lips open like this for like 5 minutes, waiting for this shit to dry down, and it never did. And then when I put my lips together just barely, it stuck to each other and it just started peeling off. And I'm like, what is going on? It had already started to go bad or something, and I don't know. I'm scared to put this on my lips, to be honest with you, and try again. I don't know. I'm not sure what went wrong with this, but I was definitely not impressed for the amount of money I paid. So regardless of how you look at it, whether it was just that I got a bad one, or whether it was that was how the formula was supposed to perform and it was just very uncomfortable and pretty much unusable, either way, I was highly disappointed. Let's move on to the eye products. So I do have Optic Intensity Eco Liner in 5 magical shades. Wow, my lighting is making this look white. This is a green. We'll see how it swatches, but these are her gel liners. Okay, it's kind of showing up green when I get close. This is like a chartreuse green. Now the thing that irritates me about these is that they swatch pretty good. This is the shade White Onyx. When you're drawing on your hand, it's like, okay, yeah. But when you're drawing on your eye, I guess it's because there's more oil and more like moisture around your eye, they do not adhere. They are just draggy and patchy. Specifically these shades that I'm swatching right now, this is the shade Cobalt Matte. I'm trying. But see, when I'm swatching them on my hand, they do have pigmentation. They do look decent. When I was using them in my waterline or on my lid, they were so draggy, so uneven, so patchy, and they never really dried down right, so they kind of stayed sticky. Like when I put them in my waterline and I would blink, I could feel my lid sticking to my lower lash line. Like it just had that weird tacky sensation. It was just like a sensory, like, no, we're not doing that. Like it was extremely uncomfortable for me. It was really hard to wash it off without putting a ton of pressure. That is the shade Black Onyx Matte. And these are swatching fantastic. But I'm telling you, on the eye, they are almost unusable. I also found them to be extremely hard to sharpen. This is the shade Deep Bronze Shimmer. That one is the only one that I'm actually keeping out of the 5. I found that they were very hard to sharpen and get a good point. They would start to crumble or break apart or just break off completely. And it was just a frustrating situation all the way around. They also include this little brush on the end, but this brush is extremely stiff and it actually hurts to use on the eyes. And it's because the formula of these eyeliners is so kind of sticky and thick, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't smudge it. It doesn't move it around. Like it just hurts your eye. These were just a major disappointment. And I'm really sad because I think the color range that they come in is really interesting and fun. I also love that so many of them are matte, but all the matte ones, White Onyx, Black Onyx, Cobalt Matte, and Chartreuse Matte, I had to give up on them. I tried time and time again to get these to work for me, but they are just a sticky, chalky patchy mess. And they have no longevity whatsoever. Now I am keeping one shade. This is a deep bronze shimmer. As you can tell, I've used it a lot more. It's a lot shorter than the other ones. This one has a metallic finish. That's the last one I swatched right there. And this one is a lot smoother and lasts way longer in the waterline. Still not the best liner I've tried ever, but it's definitely workable. Unlike how the other four were, where I just couldn't work with them at all. Like, I tried, y'all. I tried so hard. I will say though, I'm kind of digging the packaging because the actual pencil feels like some kind of composite, like recycled material. And it's lightweight, but again, like the lip crayons, there's something kind of nice about that. It doesn't feel cheap. It's just lightweight, but it doesn't feel like drugstore cheapness. Does that make sense? Now for the high power pigment paints. These pissed me off. I like eye paints. These were awful. They could have been so much better. This is the shade White Onyx Matte. This shade looks great at first. There she is. It looks fantastic when you first put it on. You're like, oh my gosh, the pigmentation, the coverage. And then your skin just kind of eats it after a while. On my eye area or anywhere on my face where I have a lot of oils, this just like disappeared. And it got patchy as it dried down and it flaked away. And it literally, like, my skin just ate it. It was just like, it just faded into nothing. This is a nightmare to use. I've tried using it as a liner. It's too thick and doesn't glide well enough to be a liner. It's not pigmented enough. Like, once it dries down, it doesn't hold its pigment enough to be a good liner. I feel like a lot of the photos they used to advertise this were like super heavily doctored because I cannot build this up to the amount of opacity that the promotional pictures had at all. I've tried doing thin layers and building it and it just crumbles and cakes and flakes and cracks and it does not build on itself whatsoever. You cannot build these up. You're stuck with the pigment that you get when you first put it on and that's it. The white one is going away. It's going in my daughter's art kit. This is the shade Beige Matte. This one I didn't like the consistency of very much because like the white, it can be patchy. I don't like it just as an eyeshadow, but I like it okay as an eye base because I feel like it's a lot less chalky than the white one was. But still overall, it's not great. It's definitely, for the price, it's definitely not great. And I'm no stranger to pigment paints. I've used pigment paints from other brands and had absolutely no trouble whatsoever. I really struggled with these. I feel like for my skin tone, I feel like I can get away with something like the Beige Matte a little better because even when it does start to look patchy, it's so similar to my skin tone that it's not as noticeable as, say, a white is. But if you're any deeper than me, or especially if you have a deep skin tone, that Beige Matte is going to show every bit of the patchiness and it's just going to be miserable to work with. So I'm keeping the Beige Matte just as an eye base, but I don't love it as an eye base. I just hate throwing stuff away. I hate getting rid of stuff. I buy things with the intention of using them, but I'm telling y'all, I've been really disappointed with these. Now this one I actually kind of like. This is the Mint Matte. Mint Matte is a absolutely beautiful and unique color. Again, though, it's not buildable. It can be really patchy. I feel like the swatches are not really doing it justice because when you first put it on, it looks and feels so creamy, but as it dries down, it just starts to dry down patchy. It like won't adhere to certain parts of my eye. It's the strangest thing. But I am keeping the Mint Matte and the Beige Matte. This is the Black Onyx Matte. Another one that disappointed me. It just ended up being super patchy. And again, when you first put them on and blend them out, I mean, they look so creamy and like super highly pigmented and gorgeous. I had to move and my sleeves smeared the black, but it looks great while it's drying down. But as it dries down, it starts to get really brittle and it starts to crease and flake off. And it's just a nightmare to work with. It's not good as a liner. It doesn't glide well with a liner brush. It doesn't make a very good like even line. I don't know, man. I am gonna keep the black as well, just because I could also use this as an eye base for like a shimmer that I really want to pop or something, but I don't like using it by itself. I don't like using it as an eyeshadow by itself because it just doesn't wear or look great. And it makes me really sad. I am over here making a mess. And last but not least, we have, this is the Rose Gold Shimmer. So they do have shimmer pigment paints as well, which I was honestly super excited about at first, but my excitement quickly faded. So blend it out, looks gorgeous. Look at that shine. We are loving it. Holy cow. But as it dries down, it's like the base and the sparkle like separate from each other. It's like the base disappears and you're left with nothing but actual glitter, and then the glitter starts to fall off. And I've tried it on my eyes, I've tried it on my face as like a blush lighter. I've even tried it on my lips to make like a metallic lipstick, and all three ways rather, I've had constant issues and cracking and the base kind of disappearing and fading away and the shimmer flaking off, and it was just a nightmare. But see, at first, these all look beautiful. When you're actually applying them, before they dry down, they feel like magic. And then as they dry, you start to see all the flaws in them. And it's just really disappointing because I wanted so badly to like these. And when I first started swatching them and playing with them, I thought, they're so creamy. They're so thick and pigmented. They just glide so beautifully. And then they started drying and I was like, what in the holy shit is this? This is terrible. I have used most of these are almost half empty. I have used these countless times, trying my ass off to get them to work, and I cannot find a way to get them to work. I can't. The promo pictures show this like ridiculously pigmented, super clean, crisp eye makeup, face makeup, what have you, and I cannot get that kind of a result with these. I cannot. But I can get that kind of result with other brands' liquid eyeshadows. I don't know. The white was the worst offender for me. This one was really, really impossible to work with. I don't know, man. I'm disappointed. I feel like everything I'm showing you guys, I'm bitching about. And I swear, there are things that I love coming up. This is the Power Sculpt Bronzer. Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer. Mine is in the shade Medium Level 8. The shade that was recommended to me was level 4, but when I swatched it, I didn't think it was going to show up on me. This one seemed like it was going to do better. Now, as you can see, I have a pan in this bad boy, which means I have been using it a lot. It's honestly maybe slightly too red for me, but that's forgivable because the formula is so good. It is a very, let me swatch it. It is kind of a more sheer formula, and that's why I went so much darker than, see how sheer that is? It's definitely a lot more of a buildable bronzer formula, which is why I went for a shade so much darker, because I felt like if I went with a lighter shade, I was gonna burn through it so quickly. Like I would really have to build that up to get it dark, you know? Medium level 8 sounds dark, but it builds on itself really nicely. It's very, like it says, velvety. It's got a very creamy texture, actually. There is a little bit of kick up in the pan, but it's not dry. It's like a creamy, velvety, almost gel-like kind of a powder. It also comes in a really large array of shades, which I thought was interesting considering how customizable it is. Like this actual shade could work for so many people because you really can build it up so much or sheer it out a lot. My only complaint about it is sometimes it's almost too sheer. So even though I went darker, I went through this pretty quickly because I had to use so much in the summertime to even get it to show up on me. And it is kind of a soft formula, so it doesn't take long to burn through it because it is so soft. But I still really love it. It is a little pricey, so I don't know if I would like repurchase it after I'm done with it, but I don't know, I probably would. I do really like it. I really like it. I think it's lovely. It looks very natural on the skin. It's got a slight glow to it without being glowy. It blends seamlessly with my glowy foundations, my matte foundations, whatever foundation I'm wearing, it actually really does well with. And I don't know, I really don't have any complaints about this except that I burnt through it so fast. The other thing I've been loving is what actually got me interested in trying the brand in the first place, besides the fact that Lady Gaga started it, and that is the highlighters. The packaging is pearlescent. The only thing I hate about this packaging is it's so slick and so smooth that I drop these all the time because I'm just like, I have carpal tunnel syndrome and I'm really clumsy. This is the shade Peach Quartz. Now I have used this more times than I can count, and you can barely tell. There's like hardly a dent in it. This is gonna last me for the rest of my life and I'm not mad about it. But look how beautiful that is. Let's swatch it. My dirty ass hands, golly. Okay, let's get a little more. Let's try again. There we go. It's kind of a typical highlighter color. Like, the color is nothing revolutionary, but it's very, very glowy and somewhat sparkly at the same time, although there is not actual any glitter in it, but there are some type of shimmer particles in it that are visible once you put it on the skin. So if you don't like that glittery shine, even though it's not glitter, it does have particles of some type. If you don't like that, you probably won't like this very much. It does emphasize texture. I just absolutely am addicted to how beautiful this shine is. Now, my only criticism of this really is that it seems when I apply this that it starts to fade away throughout the day. So it's really intense when I first put it on, but throughout the day I notice that the shine kind of disappears. I don't have that happen with a lot of highlighters, but with this one that definitely does happen. I'm not sure why that is exactly. I've even tried applying this with a brush that has been sprayed with setting spray just to see if it would help it stick better, and that didn't really help either. So I'm not exactly sure why the longevity on these isn't like as great as it could be, but I think that because it's so intense at first, it starts to look like a lit from within glow. So that might actually be a good thing for some people. I think that because it's so pretty, I can tolerate the fact that it's not super long lasting, but it is kind of expensive for that, you know? The consistency is, it's considered a gel powder highlighter, and like the bronzer, it does have like kind of a creamy texture. It's not dry, there's no kick up, a little goes a long way. It's just lovely. Now for my favorite one. This is Fire Opal. Beautiful. Now my camera is not picking up that there is a duochrome shift to this, that it shifts kind of like a yellow orange to a reddish orange. Pinky orange rather. Again, I've used this more times than I can count and you can barely tell. It's a very long-lasting product. Oh, we're gonna need more. We're gonna need backup. Okay. That's the finger. Now I know you're probably thinking that is too dark to be a highlighter on you, Miss Trailer Trash. But I like to use this as a blush lighter. Over the top of a blush, just gives it that good sheen. Now I will say there is a very visible duochrome shift in person when you're looking at the pan. When you put it on your face, I feel like the duochrome shift doesn't show up at all. Like, it's just looks like a kind of a golden highlight with a little bit of a red, but you don't see the shift when you turn. Like, there's not a strong shift. It's just kind of, it looks a lot more strong on my hand than it would if I put it on my face, but it actually ends up looking more like a golden highlighter with a little bit of a blush base. And I'm okay with that. But if you're expecting like a duochrome shifty highlighter, you're not gonna get that with this product. Like, it's not gonna do that. It really just looked like a gold highlight over a pink blush. So that's just something to keep in mind. I love this highlighter so much that I really don't give a shit. But I would be lying if I told you that I wasn't a little bit let down by the fact that there wasn't really a duochrome shift. This one also has kind of a longevity problem like the Peach Quartz one does. It does seem to fade away throughout the day, and that's also kind of disappointing. I still love them. I still love them. I just think they're just so pretty. They just feel nice. The texture is nice. I don't have anything else like this as far as the consistency goes. And I just can't help it. I really enjoy them. So I hope that information kind of helps you manage your expectations a little bit, but I'd be lying if I said these were bad highlighters. They absolutely are not by any stretch. They just aren't perfect, but I still absolutely love them. Now, let's get to the foundation and the setting powder. So I have here the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation with Fermented Arnica. What a name. This is the shade, I can't read that, that's tiny. 175 light neutral. I'm getting a little delirious. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna shake this. Comes in a beautiful glass bottle. You've seen it, you know what it looks like. That's the consistency. It's a little bit runny. My pump is leaking. I'm just gonna mention that because kind of a problem if you have to travel with it. Let's blend it out. I put a lot on there, but I hope that kind of gives you an idea of how it blends, because it's got a really nice consistency. It is a little bit on the liquidy side, but when you blend it out, the coverage is really good, which I wasn't expecting such good coverage from a foundation like this. I will say though, the coverage that it comes with is like what you get. It's like a high medium coverage. I wouldn't call this full coverage because I do still see like some of my freckles or redness through it, which is fine. No complaints here, but it's not what I would consider a full coverage. And I've seen people say it's buildable. I personally did not find this to be buildable. When I tried to build it on itself, it just made it look really heavy and weird, or it would just like not adhere to where you put it. So like if you want more coverage on your cheeks and you put more product, it just like wouldn't stick. It was really strange. So I would not consider this a buildable foundation. I've tried multiple ways to build this. I just didn't find that it was buildable. The way that I like to apply this is with a stippling brush. I go in, I stipple it on, and then I come back with a damp beauty sponge and blot my face everywhere to kind of help the foundation sink into my skin, get rid of any streaks. That to me gives me the best coverage and the best finish. It does emphasize my pores. It does show off my fine lines, and sometimes up close, it almost makes me look older than I am. Like I almost look younger without it. I'm not gonna say that it makes my skin look bad. I just noticed that it does emphasize my lines, my pores. It sort of puts them on display in a way that I was not expecting or used to. And at first I was like, oh no, this is not for me. When I was able to powder it down, I feel like a lot of that blurred away and it didn't magnify my pores anymore. But you really need a good setting powder. If you know that you are sensitive about foundations exacerbating your texture, then just know that this foundation will do that unless you powder down very well. I do feel like this foundation oxidized to look kind of like a peachy color, and almost all the ones that I swatched in store kind of had a red undertone, which was really noticeable to me. So this does match, I would say, but it wasn't like a 100% perfect match. It does oxidize. Another thing about this foundation is I found that it did transfer. It's definitely not transfer proof. It does kind of transfer a little bit, especially on my nose, around my mouth. Like it would start to break up and kind of like anything that touches my face, it would come off on it. And that was a little bit of a bummer for me too. Like I don't love that. I did like, however, that it feels very weightless. Like I kind of forgot that I had it on. This foundation is kind of weird though, in that it feels weightless, but it doesn't look weightless. To me, it definitely looks like I'm wearing foundation. A lot of people were saying it looks natural, it looks like you're not wearing anything, it's your skin but better. And I personally disagree. I just want to say that because I feel like a lot of the reviews or just content that I've seen about this product doesn't really reflect the experience that I've had. That being said, I do think it's a good foundation. Is it my favorite? No. Is it still a good foundation? I mean, yeah, I've already used like almost half of it. I do like it. I think it's nice, but I'm not quite as in love with it as everybody else is. Definitely keep in mind if you've got a lot of texture, if you've got a lot of fine lines, just make sure you powder this down really well because you will have those on full display with this foundation, no matter how thin of a layer you go in with. So just keep that in mind. Last but not least, we have the Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. I hated this. I feel like I disliked more products than I liked from this line, honestly, and I'm sad to say that, but first off, I hate the packaging. I feel like the giant cap is just, like, that's how much product you get. The cap is just excessive and kind of useless, and it feels really cheap. Like, the foundation feels expensive. This feels really cheap. And it's really hard to travel with. So this Bio Blurring Setting Powder comes with a little mesh insert, which the mesh was too fine, so I had to actually cut it because I couldn't get the powder through. Now, I do live in a very humid area, so it's possible that the humidity was causing the powder to kind of cling to itself and then it didn't want to come through the mesh. I think that might be what happened because I didn't notice that a lot of other people had this problem, but for me, it was unusable without taking the mesh out. And then it was really hard to get the powder out because I don't have a cap that I can pour into. So I had to just kind of get another tray to dump powder into to get it on my brush. Because if you just go straight in, you get too much product, and it was just a hassle in the first place. Next off, I feel like this powder, I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of balls up, like it just clings to itself. And because of that, it just kind of goes on really thick. Like it doesn't feel very finely milled, I guess. I don't know if swatching this is gonna make any sense or matter exactly because it's a powder, but like it does blur. But it also leaves a white cast, and that's what I'm trying to illustrate here. It's a translucent powder that leaves a very noticeable white cast. It does help with this Haus Labs foundation to lessen that like obvious display of pores and texture that I was talking about, but the effect only lasts for like a whopping 30 minutes. My face oils eat this powder like Captain Crunch. Like they don't even, this powder don't stand a chance on my face, like at all. And if you reapply the powder, the white cast that it leaves gets even stronger. And so the more you reapply, just the more you look like you just bathed in like cake flour. And so this just ended up being kind of useless to me. It also sort of emphasized fine lines under my eyes when I tried to use it as an under eye setting powder. So I just really didn't like it. I didn't feel like it was worth my money. I didn't care for the way it performed. And I absolutely despise the packaging. I despise how clunky it is and how user unfriendly it is. And I ended up just DNFing it. I just couldn't keep using it. So to summarize how I feel about Haus Labs, I'm going to say that overall, honestly, I was kind of disappointed. I feel like I disliked a lot more products than I liked. And the products I disliked, I really disliked. And I tried really hard to get them to work, and they just did frickin' not. So let me talk about the brand aesthetic real quick. Okay, this is kind of nitpicky and geeky and weird, but one thing I notice about this brand is it looks like 3 different brands, or maybe 2 different brands, because we have this really nice kind of lightweight recycled material. I love that the packaging shows the color of the product within. What I like about this is like that recycled material feel. I feel like a lot of these clean beauty brands, you know, are just jumping on the hype train, but this kind of felt like they were going all in with it, you know? And I like the kind of clean, colorful aesthetic with the silver, but I feel like this looks like a different brand entirely from, say, this. Like this is really nitpicky, okay? But I really love a brand that has strong branding, and to me, I would never think that these two items came from the same place. Like, this looks like so sleek and almost has like an Art Deco kind of element to it with all the angles and the pearlescence and the shine. Like, it's really pretty, but it doesn't even look like it comes from the same brand as some of the other products. Like, I love the way it looks though. I just love these types of brandings for different reasons. And like the bronzer looks like it comes from the same brand as the highlighter with the packaging that's similar. Like, I feel like the packaging aesthetic is kind of all over the place. And I don't know. And to me, none of it really screams Gaga. The highlighter, I think, is the closest thing to what I would expect from her. But I just thought it was an interesting art direction. And it's just something that stuck out to me a lot. And I just noticed it. I don't know. Let me know if you think that's really stupid down in the comments. As far as the products go, I loved the lip crayons. Absolutely loved the lip crayons. I thought that the eyeliner in the shade Deep Bronze Shimmer was pretty dang good. I mean, it's all right. I thought the highlighters were pretty, although not the most long lasting. I thought they were nice. I really liked the bronzer, although it took a lot to build it up and I burned through it really quickly. I liked it. And I think that the foundation is pretty good. I see why people love it. I think that it just doesn't really jive with me the way I was expecting. Pretty much everything else, I didn't like. I really didn't. The other four eyeliners, dry and chalky and sticky and weird. The eye paints, apply beautiful, dry down terrible, don't have longevity, don't feel nice, don't look nice. These two lip products here, the lip oil and the lip lacquer, were just already bad when I started using them, evidently. The powder was a nightmare to use and didn't do what it was supposed to do. I don't know. I feel like I should have liked more of these items. But I will say the items I did like, I loved. I think they're great. Would I repurchase any of them aside from the lip crayons? I don't know. They are expensive. And honestly, I feel like a lot of these products, I've got other things in a cheaper format that I like just as much or maybe more. So I'm not sure that I really would repurchase anything aside from the lip crayons. And it hurts me to say that because I'm like Lady Gaga's biggest fan. But I don't know. I was kind of expecting a little bit more. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what you think down below. Have you tried any Haus Labs? If you have, what do you think about them? Are you surprised by how I felt about certain products? Was your experience different? And then if you haven't tried Haus Labs, is my bitching making you not want to try Haus Labs? I'm sorry if it is. I have to be honest here, okay? I have to tell you how I really feel. So yeah, just let me know what you think. If you want to see more of me rambling at 1 o'clock in the morning about makeup, maybe consider hitting like and subscribe. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. You're the best. I don't know how you did it. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.